They say kindness is humanity's greatest virtue, but few dare to ask what happens when kindness becomes a tool. You see, behind every gift hides a question. Behind every favor, a silent contract. And behind every act of kindness, a shadow waiting to be repaid. The ancient Greeks called it charis, grace freely given. But even then they knew grace creates debt, a moral chain that binds the receiver to the giver. And if the giver is wise, that chain becomes power. We like to think of kindness as pure, unconditional, saintly. But history, psychology, and even philosophy whisper another story, one where kindness isn't just virtue, it's strategy. The world isn't moved by cruelty alone. It's often ruled by those who mastered benevolence as influence. So tonight we explore the unspoken truth that kindness, when unmisunderstood, can enslave the weak and empower the cunning. This is the dark side of kindness.
Kindness is never neutral. It's the oldest form of currency, predating money, kingdoms, and religion. Every society, from the tribes of Africa to the courts of Rome, was built on one rule: give and expect to receive. The social psychologist Robert Cialdini called it the rule of reciprocity. When someone does something for us, we feel an invisible obligation to return the favor. This rule keeps societies cohesive, but it also opens the door to control. When a gift is given, it doesn't only create gratitude, it creates imbalance, a subtle feeling that whispers, "You owe me." This is why ancient leaders and conquerors would shower their allies with wealth and titles, not out of generosity, but to own them psychologically. Machiavelli warned his prince, "Men are quicker to repay injury than kindness, for gratitude weighs heavily and revenge feels lighter." Why? Because kindness traps us. When someone saves us, helps us, or blesses us, we feel bound, morally, socially, and emotionally, even when that person's motives aren't pure. Think of a manipulative boss who praises you publicly, but later uses that kindness to demand loyalty. Or a friend who constantly helps, only to remind you of every favor when you disappoint them. Their kindness isn't a gift, it's a leash. Real kindness, the kind philosophers like Seneca spoke of, asks for nothing in return. But in the real world, most kindness is transactional. It's a chess move disguised as love. To the wise, every gift is a test. To the foolish, it's just generosity.
History is full of kindness that conquered nations. In 49 BC, Julius Caesar offered pardons to his enemies, men who plotted against him. He spared them, praised them, and welcomed them into his council. But this mercy didn't come from purity. It came from dominance. By showing forgiveness, he made them eternally indebted. They became bound by his grace until they forgot he was still their master. Even the church, during the Middle Ages, understood the weaponized form of benevolence. Acts of charity were used to win loyalty, and gifts of salvation required obedience. In modern psychology, this same principle thrives. A person who offers too much, too soon, who showers you with affection, attention, or gifts, isn't always showing love. They might be securing control. This is called love bombing,
a manipulative tactic disguised as kindness. You feel chosen, seen, valued, until you realize it's all conditional. They gave not to connect, but to own. There's another side to this dark coin, the savior complex. Some people need to be the helper because it gives them purpose and moral superiority. But even then, their kindness feeds their ego, not your growth. As Machiavelli would say, it is better to appear merciful than to be merciful. Why? Because real mercy gives away power. Apparent mercy keeps it. So ask yourself, when someone is too kind, is it generosity you're feeling or manipulation you're sensing? Every act of kindness demands attention, not because it's evil, but because it's powerful. And power must always be handled with suspicion.
In every social exchange, there's a hierarchy. The giver stands above, the receiver below. And no matter how selfless it looks, the act of giving defines who holds the upper hand. This is why kindness feels so good. It elevates the self. And why receiving it can feel strangely uncomfortable. It subtly reminds us we're in debt. The philosopher Nietzsche despised false kindness. He saw it as a mask, a way for the weak to feel powerful, to play God for a moment, to hide their envy or resentment behind virtue. Even in love, kindness is often the beginning of control. The partner who does everything for you may also be the one who resents your freedom. They chain you not with cruelty, but with comfort. The psychology behind this is simple. Control wrapped in care feels safer. When people can make you dependent on their help, they don't need to dominate you. You'll hand them the reins willingly. That's the ultimate paradox. We fear tyrants who take by force, but rarely question angels who take by giving.
The Stoics, unlike the Machiavellians, believed in a higher form of kindness, one that isn't transactional and therefore uncorrupted. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The fruit of this life is good character and acts for the common good." But he also warned, "Do not expect gratitude, nor attach your worth to the response of others." In other words, give without chains. True strength lies not in refusing kindness, but in being immune to its manipulation. The Stoic gives because it aligns with virtue, not strategy. He expects nothing and therefore cannot be owned. You can only be manipulated by kindness when you crave approval or fear loss. The Stoic, detached from both, is untouchable. Be kind, yes, but let your kindness be fire, warm enough to give life, yet impossible to cage.
Kindness is not weakness. It is a force, a tool that shapes relationships, hierarchies, and even empires. But when misused, it becomes the most seductive form of control. Because unlike cruelty, kindness hides its fangs behind a smile. The true mastery lies not in rejecting kindness, but in understanding its nature. To give freely, without expectation,
and to receive wisely without falling into debt. Remember, those who give to control lose power when you don't play the game. Those who give without need hold all the power in silence. So be kind, but never naive, for in this world even light can cast dangerous shadows.